Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI Explorer Journeys, our podcast where we navigate the world of artificial intelligence. I'm your host, Sarah, and joining me today is my co host, Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone.
I came across a really striking comment from Sam Altman recently. He was asked what would be more valuable in 5 years: a website with 1 billion daily users or the most advanced AI model. And without missing a beat, he said the site with 1 billion users. He even said AGI will be like transistors, ubiquitous, cheap, and not a differentiator in itself. That kind of blew my mind.
Well, that quote really hits the bullseye on OpenAI's entire strategy. It signals a profound shift. Altman is essentially saying that the real endgame isn't about having the single smartest model, but about owning the user interface and the ecosystem that 1 billion people interact with every day. It means that advanced AI, as critical as it is becoming a utility, like electricity. The real value is in being the operating system for this new AI era.
An operating system for AI. That sounds massive. So it's less about being the best model builder and more about becoming a consumer tech giant like a Microsoft or Google for this new age?
Exactly. But it's a different kind of OS. Altman himself clarified they don't aim to be like Windows. Instead, he compared it to how Google Login works across the web. The vision is for people to have a personal AI that they carry with them, almost like a digital passport, to log into other services.
That's a wild concept. So my AI becomes my digital identity? It knows me, logs me in, and then helps me out wherever I go online?
Precisely. It's your persistent digital companion. Think of it like Jarvis from Iron Man or the AI from the movie Times, her asterisk. It knows your preferences, your history, and provides a continuous, personalized experience, whether you're shopping, reading emails, or on social media. This creates an incredibly powerful network effect. The more you use your AI, the more it learns about you, and the harder it becomes to even think about switching to a different platform. You're locked in, but in a way that feels deeply personal and helpful.
That makes sense. It's not just about convenience. It's about building a digital version of me that's so integrated I can't leave it behind. So, how are they actually building this? Right now, most of us just see ChatGPT as an app or a website.
That's where their Android plus WeChat strategy comes into play. It's a really insightful analogy for what they're doing. They're expanding ChatGPT from a single product into a full-fledged platform, and they're doing it on two fronts simultaneously.
Android and WeChat, one's a mobile OS, the other is a massive Chinese super app. How do those two fit together for OpenAI?
Let me break it down. On one hand, they want to be like Android, an open, general-purpose platform for developers. They're providing tools like codecs for coding and new agent APIs that let developers build all sorts of AI applications that plug into their ecosystem.
Got it. So they're building the playground for other developers to create things. What about the WeChat part?
The WeChat part is for the users. Just like WeChat has countless mini-programs for everything from paying bills to booking appointments, all within one app, OpenAI wants ChatGPT to become a central hub. You, as a user, could access a travel plugin, a shopping plugin, a data analysis plugin, all seamlessly inside the ChatGPT interface instead of juggling a dozen different apps. It becomes a universal front end for a huge range of AI-powered services.
So for developers, it's a place to build. For users, it's one place to access everything. That sounds incredibly convenient, but I have to imagine it's a bit of a double-edged sword for the companies that integrate with them.
You've hit on the core tension right there. It's a huge paradox. If you're a company like Expedia, integrating with ChatGPT gives you access to millions of potential customers. The problem is, the AI can become the middleman for the entire interaction. A user just says, AI, book me a flight to New York, and the AI uses your data to do it. The user feels like ChatGPT did the work, and your brand, Expedia, just became an invisible back-end data provider.
Right, your brand gets completely diluted. It reminds me of the early days of voice assistants when you tell Alexa to order batteries and Amazon just picks the vendor. The battery brand itself becomes irrelevant.
It's the exact same dynamic. You risk becoming a commodity. But on the other hand, if you don't integrate and your competitor does, they get all the AI-driven traffic. It's a classic platform dilemma. You get access, but you might lose your direct relationship with the customer. Altman knows this is a huge concern.
So, what are they doing about it? Just telling partners too bad this is the future?
No, they're trying to play the role of a careful ecosystem manager. Altman has said they'll let third-party apps maintain their own branding and handle critical parts of the user interface. For example, ChatGPT might find the flight, but then send you to the airline's own page to confirm the payment. It shows they understand they can't just crush their partners if they want the ecosystem to flourish. It's a delicate balancing act.
A balancing act that's all built on a foundation of immense computing power. Which brings us to this trillion-dollar compute alliance I keep hearing about. That number sounds almost unreal. What is that all about?
That number, whether it's literal or conceptual, points to a fundamental truth about AI. It is incredibly hungry for compute. Unlike a social media platform where users generate content for free, every single AI query, every image, every line of code generated burns expensive GPU cycles. OpenAI is essentially running a token factory. To grow and serve 1 billion users, they need an unprecedented amount of infrastructure.
So this alliance with companies like SoftBank and NVIDIA is their way of ensuring the lights stay on, so to speak?
It's much more than that. It's a strategic move to coordinate the entire supply chain, from chip manufacturing with NVIDIA and AMD to data center capacity. It's like a wartime mobilization effort. By getting all the key players to invest in parallel, with OpenAI committing to buy what they build, they can accelerate the build-out needed to meet the explosive demand they anticipate. It's a huge, all-in bet on the future.
When you talk about massive, coordinated build-outs, my mind immediately goes to historical bubbles, like the glut of fiber optic cable during the dot-com boom. Is there a worry that we're just building way too much too fast?
There's definitely a historical parallel, and concerns about an AI data center bubble are valid. But there are a couple of key differences. First, AI hardware, especially GPUs, depreciates incredibly fast. A top-of-the-line GPU is practically obsolete in 3 to 5 years. You can't just overbuild and sit on it for decades like you could with fiber. Also, because running AI is so expensive from day one, companies are forced to think about monetization much earlier than the get users first, figure out money later model of the Web 2 era. That might provide some natural checks and balances against the bubble getting completely out of control.
That's an interesting point. The high cost actually forces a certain amount of discipline. In this whole gold rush, it seems like NVIDIA is the one selling all the picks and shovels. They must be in an incredible position.
They are in the sweet spot, without a doubt. So far, nearly every major AI development relies on their GPUs. If $1 trillion is being poured into infrastructure, a massive slice of that pie is going directly to NVIDIA. Now, the risk for them is what happens if this spending slows down or if competitors finally catch up. But for the near future, the demand seems insatiable. Every time models get more efficient, people just find more complex things to do with them, which eats up even more compute.
It's the classic paradox of efficiency. The cheaper it gets per query, the more queries everyone runs, so total spending just keeps going up. So beyond the hardware, how is OpenAI planning to actually make money from this empire they're building?
This is another area where they're trying to break the mold. Sam Altman has been pretty vocal about his dislike for ad-driven business models. Instead, they're focused on things people will actually pay for directly. We're already seeing this. About 70% of their revenue currently comes from consumer subscriptions, like ChatGPT Plus, not API usage.
That's a huge number. It means they have a strong direct-to-consumer business.
It does, and it gives them stability. They're also exploring other ideas, like taking a small commission, maybe 2%, like a credit card fee on transactions that their AI facilitates. If the AI helps you buy a product, they get a tiny cut. It's a value exchange, not an attention-grabbing model based on ads. It's a fundamentally different way of thinking about monetizing a massive user base.
That's refreshing. But with all this ambition, the platform, the ecosystem, the Compute Alliance, do they risk stretching themselves too thin? Are they trying to do too much at once?
It's an incredibly bold strategy, for sure. But Altman's argument, referencing the work of tech theorist Carlota Perez, is that during a major technological revolution, you have times to make progress on all fronts in parallel. You can't do it sequentially. The risk of going too slow and missing the window of opportunity is, in their view, far greater than the risk of trying and failing on a few fronts.
So even with all these moving parts and competitors, they see this as their one shot to become the leader. But they're not just competing with other tech giants like Google, right? What about the open source movement?
That is the dark horse in this whole race. The open source AI community is moving at a breathtaking pace. We're seeing open models achieve results with $100 of training that used to cost closed models $10 million. If open source AI becomes as good and as ubiquitous as, say, Linux did for the internet, it will put immense pressure on OpenAI. They will have to constantly prove why their closed, integrated platform offers superior value and a better user experience. They can't afford to be complacent.
It really feels like we're watching the foundations of the next era of technology being laid in real time. So to recap, OpenAI's grand plan isn't just about building the best AI model. It's about creating an entire AI operating system. They're doing this with a dual Android plus WeChat strategy, which creates this powerful but tricky partnership dynamic. And all of it is fueled by a massive, coordinated investment in infrastructure, a new kind of AI gold rush where companies like NVIDIA are major winners.
That's a perfect summary. It captures the scale of the ambition and the key strategic pillars they're building on.
This whole strategy reveals a profound shift in what value means in the age of AI. It's no longer just about who can build the smartest machine. It's about who can build the most integrated, indispensable digital companion and the vast infrastructure that powers it. As we watch this parallel evolution of research, product, and infrastructure, a fundamental question emerges. In an era where AI becomes a ubiquitous utility, will we embrace a future shaped by a handful of dominant ecosystems? Or will the decentralized, innovative force of open source lead to a more diverse and democratized AI landscape? The answer won't just determine the fate of OpenAI, it will profoundly shape the future of human-computer interaction and our own digital autonomy. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and thank you, Kevin, for the great discussion. Before we wrap up, let me remind everyone today's discussion reflects personal views only, not investment advice. Please consult professionals before making financial decisions.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Explorer podcast. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all for today. See you next time.